What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another installment of Hibiki Highspots right here in Hibiki TMD. Two things real quick I want to announce. Slam Pigs Cruise Control, our weekly 205 live review show, is going on the back burner until further notice. Nothing against Logan or Colin, I enjoy doing anything with those guys, but it's 205 live. The show is unbearable. It's just, I cannot fathom watching another second of it anytime soon. I just can't do it anymore. So if you're a fan of Cruise Control, hey, we appreciate it, but have mercy on our souls a little bit. The show is super bad right now. I can't do it. I take the blame. But in its place, I'm putting Hibiki Highspots every Tuesday or Wednesday. Look for it from now on. Instead of Cruise Control, other elephant in the room. Last night, I want to apologize to my guests, JD, Bronson, and Colin. The first half of the show, the file got corrupted. Unfortunately, it was not salvageable. It's gone. Missing about an hour's worth of show, but thankfully, something above was looking out for us because literally when JD started talking about Omega versus Jericho, the file miraculously kicks in and it's saved there. So we got about 40 minutes of show here. Once again, all apologies to those guys last night because we did go about 2 hours. But until then, enjoy the episode. All the links for the description for all my guests this week are down below. Check them out. Until then, enjoy.
Good God knows how long. Agreed. It had Jericho turning super heel.
Yeah.
It had blood. It had chairs. It had tables. It had in-ring technicality. It had finishers that actually mattered. It had Jericho pulling out fucking cruiserweight moves since WCW. I mean, when was the last time we heard the Lion Tamer actually matter and the Lion Salt? We had Omega pulling out very many V-triggers because he was baffled in how to actually put Jericho down. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. Lost it. The point is, good stuff.
Red Shoes, Jericho fucking with the ref. That was tremendous.
I loved it when
his son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Smacks him around.
I loved it. I mean, for me personally, this was my match of the night.
Definitely.
My favorite match of the night. My favorite. I mean, I'm gonna have to be that guy and say it was the match of the year so far, because we're 9 days into the year.
Yeah.
The only reason I gave a shit about watching it was that match. So.
I mean, New Japan, I think, had, I want to say 25,000 new subscribers, and I get all of it was because of Jericho and Omega.
Yes,
like, there were a lot of casual fans to New Japan who, like, they watched the entire show, but they were there for that match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Opposed to, like, they drew, almost 40,000 this year. It probably would have been, like, 20, 25, maybe a little bit more.
It was good booking. I mean, just that video package prior to the match like Omega jumping Jericho, talking shit at a press conference, to vice versa, to Jericho throwing like fire extinguishers in the back at reporters. I mean, everything leading up to the match was you generally believed that these two dudes from Winnipeg, two Canadians fighting for the U.S. title, go figure that.
In Japan.
Yeah.
In Japan.
Over a United States title, you're right.
Each other.
It's so ironic. And I know, and you're right, you're so right. Everything about this was done just perfectly to a T. And I'm also one of those guys, Kenny Omega rubs me the wrong way sometimes, but man, I've said it time and time again, if I was a businessman booking, I'd put him in my main event because of just the buzz he has. I don't have to be a fan of him to know that he's business right now. And I enjoyed him in this. I thought he took it serious. I can honestly say, the only thing I'm still iffy on, what was his entrance? Was it like an Anubis? What was that?
So he was going for his Terminator, but sticking with that realm. He was some Osiris guy from Destiny.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't play Destiny. That's probably why.
It did look a bit cartoonish to me. Like, I like the Terminator entrance he did last year, but this one, like the giant gun and the oversized helmet, it was a little much to me.
I don't remember any unless that's from Destiny 2, but I didn't.
I think it is Destiny 2.
Yeah, it's from Destiny 2. And then Jericho coming out to his own music.
That was cool. I like that.
How Rockstar are. And it was loved that.
Yeah, he came out to Judas, which a great song. The whole album is fantastic. But it fits so well like him walking down to that song, it made a whole lot of sense. Like it felt right.
Oh yeah, he had this hardcore smirk on his face. He was giving the fans the finger.
The
pushes the
WCW
camera
hair is
out of the
back,
way.
it seems.
Kind of.
He
Yeah.
Jericho was super heel from the moment that music hit and escalated throughout the match. And
the only thing I wish he did differently is I wish he would have worn tights. Just to really switch it up. Because he has like the whole long he has the long hair going now. He had the different theme. Obviously he's not going to get rid of the scarf anymore because that's just his thing now. But I mean the tights would have been something that would have been fun to see.
We are all about the scarf of Jericho.
oh yes. Oh yes.
No, but Hibiki, you reminded me of it. With how it was booked and presented in Omega being who he was, even in his press conferences, there was one on Twitter that was posted, and it was only a couple minutes. He goes, "Look, I lost to Naito, I lost to Okada. I don't deserve to be in the main event. They deserve to be in the main event, but we all know the real reason why you're tuning into Wrestle Kingdom 12, and that's Alpha versus Omega." And I was like, see, that is how you put a match over. You may not be the last match, but you're the best match.
I think it's one of the key things you teach students in wrestling school is like, no matter what your placement is on the card, if you're cutting a promo on your match, make it seem like nobody wants to miss that. It has to be the best thing you ever see in your life. No matter if you're the curtain jerker or the main event, you got to sell it that way. And we don't see that enough anymore. You know what I mean? It's just two guys fighting over petty bullshit. Who's my illegitimate father? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's just, ugh. And that it was really well done here. I agree. The match itself, like you said, the best. I got into a little debate with some dude on Twitter about he was, how he liked the hype, but he really doubted Jericho could pull it off. He's a shell of his former self in ring, and I told him straight up, I was like, man, Jericho doesn't have to have the 5-star match here to get it over the top to make it work. Jericho's smart enough and seasoned enough to know how to use psychology and all that stuff to like a hybrid, and that's exactly what he did, and it did live up to the hype. And I have yet to see really one person hate the match. I've seen some people kind of on it, but nobody really hates it, I feel like.
There was even comedy in the match.
Yeah, like when he takes the camera and just starts flipping off like Omega and taking pictures of it.
Yeah, he had the shutter button, and he's like, I got Omega down. Shutter button, middle finger, plus the fans.
He's just beating the shit out of the young boys at the young lions on the outside.
Well, that's just what you do with the young lion anyway, regardless.
That's true.
Oh man, I got a real kick out of when Jericho had him in the lion tamer, because he even had his knee on the back. Omega couldn't get out, and Jericho was even yelling at the ref, "It's no DQ." Even if you get the ropes, because we see that in WWE all the time. It's no DQ, but as soon as they get the ropes, they let go anyways.
Well, I mean, that was one of the things I had an issue with. Ironically enough, with continuity, because earlier in the match they did a thing where he got to the ropes and he let go, and then there was this one where like getting to the ropes and it didn't matter, and I was like, what?
So
yeah.
So
there was also a spot where
in that moment, Jericho let go in kind of this desperation, like he was just barely holding on to the move, and he just goes straight to the ground. So as soon as he got to the ropes, he's like, well, I can't pull him off. He has a better chance of getting out of the ring. It was all kind of in his body language. But the one I'm talking about was the third time Omega's in the corner and he pulls out the cold spray.
Yeah.
In his eyes, Jericho's blinded, and then he's like, Omega's still heel, remember? And he puts the cold spray in his pants. He's like, woo, shock to the system. I'm ready to go again.
It was great. And of course, Omega gets the win with the one-winged angel on the belt. And Bronson, how much fun do you think Jericho was having out there? You could just kind of tell he was just having...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the best heel, man. So good.
These guys, even more top tier guys like a Jericho in WWE, they're so shackled in what they can do in the ring, and you can't do this, and this will step on so and so's toes, and blah blah blah. We're seeing guys tell faster paced matches now in this era more than ever, but I still feel like they can't do nearly what they're allowed to do in Japan or whatever. And you could just tell it was like a weight off his chest to be able to finally tell his story he wanted to tell in ring wise.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely Jericho's best match in fucking more than, I don't know, 10 years maybe. It's been.
Oh yeah, this was easily one of Jericho's best matches. And Jericho said in an interview like he could have gone back and done a Mania or something like that, but he knows he wouldn't have been treated the way he is in New Japan. He would have been stuck with some Midgard guy. He would have wrestled 1,000 times already, and it would have just been a it would have, well, not boring, but it would have just been like a regular match, fourth from the top at Mania. So he can either do that, or he can go have this, money feud with Kenny Omega, who's arguably, one of the biggest, if not the biggest guy in Japan, and who's not in WWE.
Yeah. You could tell Jericho alone was just happy to do the lion salt again.
Yeah.
I think because when was the last time we saw that in WWE? Probably, I honestly can't remember.
Probably Mania with Owens, I think he did. But that's Mania. Yeah, that doesn't count. You get your shit in at Mania, basically.
But that'll be a big deal when he eventually returns to WWE, whenever that happens.
I mean, he's staying in New Japan right now because at the New Dash after Wrestle Kingdom, the Raw after Mania equivalent, in the main event they had Chaos face off against LIJ, and I believe LIJ won, and it set up a couple different things. They have Sonata is going to go after Okada, which I didn't get it exactly. Everyone was like, I mean, immediately after that, there's like, oh, cool, they're setting up Sonata and Okada. And I'm just like, Sonata put him in a chokehold for 20 seconds. That doesn't really mean he should get a title match, but they're doing it anyway, so, whatever. They have, Evil.
Sounds like WWE booking there.
Honestly. They have Evil going after, I believe he's going to face Goto for the never openweight belt. I don't know. I was about to get to that. And so after that, Naito, he does his whole finishing promo. He reads off the names. He puts over the team. And they're all going to leave. And then out comes Jericho, attacks Naito.
Yeah, which surprised everyone. The very next day, 24 hours later, like you said, New Year's Dash, everyone pretty much assumed it was one. I kind of had a feeling like you, Colin, that we're going to see more.
Yeah, I figured he was going to stay. That's why I picked Jericho to beat Omega. Great choice that was.
It was well within reason, though, especially if you're under the impression that he's going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that would bring a lot of popularity, not only to New Japan itself, but also that belt.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So
exactly.
I commend the bold pick.
And I can never complain with the feud with Naito, and it makes sense how they tied it in with their Twitter rants and whatnot.
Yeah. Did Naito was offended that Jericho was billing it as like the double main event when Naito's like, no, I've worked my ass off to get here. Me and Okada, we're the main event, not you.
It should be a great match whenever that's going to happen.
I think it's going to be
at the continuity, man.
Show. I think it's going to be at the Dominion show. It's not going to be for like a while, I think, because
he's got a tour with Fozzy.
Yeah, Jericho's touring with Fozzy. That's why he's not like. That was the other thing. Like people was like, "Oh, it's okay. Jericho's going to be in the Rumble. Jericho's going to be at Mania." He has shows on both of those days. So if you're hoping for a Kenny or fucking Chris Jericho appearance, good luck on either one of them.
Maybe
Jericho knew Roman was going to win the Rumble, and he wanted nothing to do with it.
Maybe Jericho's such a good businessman. He'll pop up in the Rumble. He'll win the Rumble. He'll go for the title at Mania and Fozzy. He'll sing his own entrance at Mania. Like on the way down the ramp, he'll be singing, and then one and done.
Honestly, that would be one hell of a way to do things.
That would be funny.
It's economics. It's economics.
To me, this match shows not only Jericho still has it in the ring when the reins are taken off him, he clearly still has. I mean, he proved this last year by getting a freaking list over, which was amazing.
And a scarf.
And a scarf. And his tons of catchphrases. He still has everything to do on the mic. And now with his in-ring ability, just seemingly as good as it was 10 years ago, he's at least due an IC title run to make that belt the Legends belt in WWE.
I easily think Jericho is one of the top 5 greatest wrestlers of all time.
He's getting up there from. He's not top 5 yet, but the more that he does stuff like this, and he ages like a fine wine, like Shawn Michaels did, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely pushing his way up. My list. Another thing I loved was the press conference. After he attacked Naito, I got a big pop out of it where a reporter asked him a question, and the same reporter asked him another question. Jericho said, "You sit down and shut your mouth. Don't be greedy." He already asked the question. It was great. It's great heel work.
Jericho as just a dick heel in New Japan is a great thing.
Yeah, because you're so much bigger than everyone there to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's like an easy heel ploys and stuff you can do. But yes, of course, goes without saying, guys, go out of your way to watch this match. I don't know what you're doing if you haven't. It's accessible, very accessible to see this match.
Hey, New Japan World is less than the WWE Network.
Yeah,
it comes out to a little over $8.
Yep.
Wow.
The only thing that hurts it's not on the PS4 yet, right? It's just on Roku still, right?
There's New Japan World just on the internet. I think it's on Roku and the Fire Stick or something like that. So it's not as accessible as the network, but
actually, I heard it isn't, but I don't know if that's true. I heard it's not even on Roku, unless it's one of those. Yeah.
I know there's a way you can watch it on your TV. I know one of those. I think it might be a Fire Stick or something like that.
The only way I heard you could stream it on Roku is if you get one of the apps that just streams it, like a Google. What's that Google streaming shit called? Chromecast.
Google stream shit.
Google stream shit. GSS.
Like
yeah, the Chromecast, something like a Chromecast. That's it.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, without further ado, does anyone off the bat want to do their best Japanese Michael Buffer-esque intro for the main event time here? Nope.
Oh man, I'll give it. So what? Like I'm supposed to introduce it like they do in New Japan?
Yeah, it's kind of like
Oh god, I like how they do the names backwards. Like I don't know like why that makes sense in Japanese culture, but they always like.
Yeah.
Well, the family name is more important than your
Yeah, that's why.
Name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. It's fair. It's but I do like the way they introduce it, where it's just like. Hiya, Okada Kazuchika! Something like that.
Yeah. There you go.
It's great.
Speaking of Okada Kazuchika.
Coming in as the...
It was time. This was the time. This was the time to just do it with Naito, put the belt on him. I feel like everyone...
Yeah, I don't agree with Okada winning in the slightest. You had like a great 4-year arc. Like a 4-year build with this match because many years ago, I don't remember which Wrestle Kingdom it was. It might have been 9, might have been 10. I don't remember. Could have been 8 for all I know. A babyface Naito won the G1 that year and was going to face Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at that Wrestle Kingdom that year. But Naito... he was not liked by the fans. They hated him. I mean, he was a babyface, and they just booed him out. He got the Roman Reigns treatment, basically. And they put it up to a vote.
That was Tanahashi light, essentially.
Pretty much. But New Japan put it up to a vote that I don't remember who Tanahashi was fighting, but he was the IC champion at the time, too. And they put up to a vote. Which match do you want to see go on last? And Tanahashi's IC title match won, and it went on last. And so Naito, he becomes a heel and he has probably the second most popular, faction in New Japan behind the Bullet Club.
So it was Wrestle Kingdom 8 you're thinking of. Despite being a clean-cut babyface, Naito was given a contract granting him a shot at the heavyweight title. Thoroughly disliked by New Japan fans, which led to the changing course of action, announcing a fan vote to decide the match between him and Okada, or an IC title match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Tanahashi.
That's who it was, yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. And so, becomes a heel. He leads a great group with LIJ, and he comes back and he wins the G1 again. And this time, he's one of the most over guys in New Japan. The fans, he's technically a heel, but the fans love him, and everyone loves him. This was the time. And, Okada, he holds, every record he can with the IWGP Heavy. He's longest reigning, most combined days. at this point. He's had I think this is like his 4th or 5th run with the belt too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how many times. I don't know the record exactly for a person who's held it the most. But this was the time for Okada to lose, and they didn't do it. And at this point, I have no idea. At this point, honestly, Chris Jericho is probably going to be the guy to take it off him. They're going to have to go the Brock Lesnar route with this one. Have some outside guy who's much bigger than a lot of the people there come in and beat their world champion. Because at this point, unless they just decide to do a 4th Kenny Omega match, which is also very possible, I don't know who beats him at this point.
Yeah, me either. And, great thing about this, to see the fans get behind Naito so much now, it's one of those great organic things in wrestling. It reminds me of Tommy Dreamer in ECW when he first came out with suspenders. You know what I mean? And that the fans just raked him through the coals and stuff, and he turned the corner, and it's just that, it's tremendous to see where Naito's at now as opposed to where he was just, holding his eyelids open and not getting over the slightest.
Also kind of like Rocky Maivia, where people got sick of him and then became The Rock.
Exactly.
Yeah, also Naito has a fucking cape in his entrance here, which is great. He looked like an SNK fighter in like one of those games for some reason to me.
I mean, his red hair.
Oh, Naito looks like a Street Fighter or no, you're right. SNK. He does look like he's straight out of King of Fighters.
He does. He was awesome.
Kind of reminds me of Ori from SNK. Yeah,
totally. I dig the group too. I know it was based out of Mexico originally, and it's just brought over to Japan. But it's still, I'm digging the members. I'm digging how
You know who else was in the Mexican version of LIJ?
Please say Juventud Guerrera.
Honestly, he might have been, but no. Current NXT champion Andrade Cien Almas
as El Sombra, correct?
Yep, he used to be in LIJ.
Was this masked or unmasked?
Masked.
No, this was masked. He only unmasked when he got to NXT.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure he was not a fan of doing.
Wait, no, didn't he lose? I think he lost a mask match in Mexico. I think I don't think I might have heard
that. No, I think you're right. I think he lost it, but I think
it was post signing with NXT, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was because he signed with NXT. That was his go out match.
His excuse to take the mask off and not just be a dick and be like, "Well, I'm making more money. I'm just going to take it off now."
Yeah. Man, I don't like almost being kind of off NXT right now.
He needs to be prominent because he went so long.
The champion.
Yeah, and he went so long being kind of cannon fodder and putting guys over. He needs to be relevant.
God, he's terrible on the mic, though.
Well, that's the perfect reason why you have what's her name, Zelina
Vega. Yeah,
Zelina Vega. She is great. She makes him.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's like Paul Heyman and Lesnar. Like you have Zelina Vega there. Perfect.
I wonder now that I have not heard any major confirmation, but the rumor is that Aries and Zelina are no longer engaged and they split up. I wonder if eventually they're going to.
Wait, is that true?
I have not heard any confirmation from either of them, but they're not on each other's social media anymore, and they don't post about each other. So yeah, apparently that engagement's over. So I wonder if they'll eventually do the whole romance angle with them.
I would, yeah. They travel a lot together, so yeah. Who's to say they didn't hook up already?
Who knows?
Very true. They're both attractive people.
I would like, well, yeah, but I would still like her to be strictly the business partner and possibly, I mean, let's face it, NXT is kind of getting all faction based. Let's get almost kind of a bodyguard or someone to go with Vega, or Vega gets a lower card person.
Authors of Pain.
There you go.
Yeah, but they're on their way to the main roster soon. But
are they?
Well, no, they're not. Okay, so does anyone care about NXT spoilers? Because this has something to do with the tapings in the next few weeks. Does anyone care that much?
I still watch it, so
I don't care, but my listeners might. So let's hold off on that.
Okay.
Or wait, no, you know what, guys? Skip ahead to 3 minutes. Go.
Yeah. Okay. So at the tapings in Georgia, and I think it's for January 10th through the 31st, the Authors of Pain beat the Street Profits and are facing Red Dragon at the next NXT TakeOver for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Why?
As baby faces?
No, Actually, yeah, I guess they would be baby faces unless they're doing heel versus heel. And I hate it because I love the Street Profits. I love the Street Profits a lot. And
they're kind of ridiculous.
I know they're a bit over the top, but they're basically the new Enzo and Cass. They're very over with the crowd.
I don't know. They remind me a lot of oh shit, what were they called?
Crime Time?
Crime Time, yeah.
And I like how we all know who they were. Yeah, no, I get it. And this is the thing with WWE. Every black wrestler has to have some sort of black gimmick. There has never. I mean, Cedric Alexander is kind of just there. So I mean, he's one of the few exceptions. But they all have to have some sort of stereotypical gimmick. But as far as the Street Profits go, they're good.
Cedric Alexander's just there wearing wetsuits, hanging out.
Well,
pretty much.
Let's be honest, though. The Street Profits only matter is Montez. I mean, he's expensive.
Oh no, Montez Ford is going to be the Shawn Michaels of the group without a doubt. He's the one who really put the team together.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
I don't feel like they portray them as like a stereotypical black team. I just think their charisma's off the charts.
Oh yeah, no. And first of all, it's a black cup. It has the Street Profits logo, and I bought one. I have the plastic cup. It was like $13, and it was awesome. I love it. It's literally the only cup I use in my house.
You bought a $13 cup, and you have to live with yourself now. So
I bought a shirt that had Jinder Mahal all over it.
I say that, yeah. That's Jinder Mahal shirt. Oof.
Well, the modern day Maharaja. I mean, it did sell.
Fucking Don West over here, with
especially in Canada. Oh my God, that shirt was impossible to get.
Well, he is from Calgary.
WWE is a place where Canadians can flourish, kind of.
Come only a long way since the dungeon.
Even in a Canadian Senate meeting, somebody mentioned, "Oh, Jinder Mahal won the title or something."
Yeah, no, they mentioned it in like a Canadian government meeting.
Yes, exactly. I was like, "Wow,
it was fantastic." How the fuck did we? It all goes back to Jinder Mahal. Every New Japan, it all goes back to Jinder Mahal.
It all goes back. Somehow we got from Naito and Okada to Senate hearings. Naito and Okada, the match was tremendous. I'd have nothing against the match.
Yeah,
I disagree. I honestly did not like this match. I thought it was good, but to be perfectly honest, I thought it was like the third worst match of the night. And don't get me wrong, there wasn't a bad match. I just liked almost every other match over this match. And it could have been the fact, that it was like 5:30 in the morning. I was tired.
Oh, and probably has a lot to do.
Plus Naito didn't win, so it also, put a sour taste in my mouth. I wasn't a huge fan of this match.
I thought the Rainmaker Naito sold where he did a moonsault on his goddamn head was excellent.
Yeah, that was
it looked brutal. I mean, wasn't that the front page in Japan?
Yeah, it made headlines.
So. Was that capture?
Awesome. Shout out to that photographer who captured that spot on.
Man, I personally loved the match. Again, it goes back to that result. It's only there to strengthen Okada. So who are they? I mean, it's not going to be Omega because he's lost twice already. So who's going to beat him?
Actually, no, he has lost twice. He did win the third match. I'm sorry.
And it's not like Naito hasn't won the IWGP belt.
It's either going to be Omega at next year's Wrestle Kingdom, or it's going to be Jericho. There's nobody else that can do it at this point.
So, I mean, we see where Naito's going now. He didn't really lose anything with losing the match, other than not gaining the title. It just makes Okada seem like Superman.
I feel like it's the Braun Strowman route. Braun Strowman had, this monster year, no pun intended, in 2017, breakout year, beat Roman Reigns on multiple occasions, gained a ton of fans. No one thought when he debuted that he would, be where he is now.
But when you book him to lose to one F5, you erase all that. And that's what they almost did.
That's exactly what I was getting to. He has this great year. He's going to fight Brock Lesnar. You're thinking, holy shit, this might be the one. And then one F5, he's done. And in recent weeks, Braun Strowman's momentum has basically been killed from when he lost to Lesnar. And same thing with Naito. I can't say yet. It's only been 5 days since it happened, but I feel it's gonna be like Braun Strowman. A lot of his momentum is gonna die.
Well, good. See, I can't agree with that because he's going straight into the feud with Jericho, so he's gonna be up there, no matter what.
I mean, he's still
just
doing
having that feud immediately strengthens him. The problem with Strowman after that loss is he didn't really have a feud after that.
That's true. Very true.
And another interesting thing is both these guys lost at Wrestle Kingdom, Jericho and Naito. So who eats the next pin? Who?
That's what I'm getting to, and I feel like it's gonna be Naito because if they're gonna, I don't know how long Jericho's contract is with New Japan at this point. I don't think it's like a whole month to month thing like he did with WWE, but I have to imagine if Jericho's gonna stick around longer after his thing with Naito, he has to win, or he doesn't have a whole lot of credibility at that point.
Well, okay, how about this? Just fantasy booking here.
Yeah.
Naito gets his LIJ guys to help out, and that's how he wins. So then Jericho then has some credibility left of why he lost.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, do we really want some sort of fuck finish in a big profile match like this?
No, definitely not.
Well, you don't, but I feel it would bring a good story to it. All it takes is the right build. Like Jericho, again with the fantasy booking here, Jericho just keeps getting one over on Naito. He keeps jumping him, or he hits Codebreaker after Codebreaker. Maybe gets him to tap out on Japan TV. Naito's worried. He sees this in press conferences. Got the LIJ guys coming up to him. Hey man, you need some help? He's like, no, another Codebreaker. Yeah, maybe I need the help, and that doesn't show up until the match. They put on a good match, and then just, something happens, and Jericho loses. And Jericho has his credibility. Naito wins. There you go.
Two factors for me which make me think that Jericho is just going to do the honors for Naito straight up. One is how close him and Gato are. They go back to their days together coming up in Super J-Cup days. Jericho also put over Fandango at WrestleMania. Jericho has no problems putting over young talent. I think he's there to do Gato a favor and get some of these guys over for his buddy, and he has no problems doing it, especially guys as talented as Naito and Omega,
Oh, yeah.
Chris Jericho versus Fandango. I'll take matches nobody remembers for 500, Alex.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that he even won.
What a waste.
Honestly, imagine that Fandango beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, and now he's doing what he is.
The tried and true statement, though, excuse me, coming out of this, guys, with Wrestle Kingdom shows in general every single year, even though they happen in January, people already call them the card of the year, basically one of the best, and that's hard to argue. Every year, I feel like they go above and beyond with what they present. These are always worth going out of your way to catch, whether you're insane like Colin, staying up till the ass crack of dawn, or just catching them when you can. Guys, and final results are coming out. What do we all grade this show as a whole across the board? Bronson, what do you got on Wrestle Kingdom 12?
What rating scale are we doing?
Whatever you want to do.
All right, so I'll just out of a 5, I'll give it a 4.
There you go. Any reasons it wasn't a 5?
Well, I didn't care for everything, but I guess the shit I saw, the Jericho and the two main events was worth it, and the Kota Ibushi was good. So just for that, that was good. But yeah, just because I didn't care for everything, that's why I'd give it a 4.
There you go. JD.
I would give it a 4.5. Just based on everything that's surrounding it. We have it's in a year filled with just, in my opinion, awful WWE pay-per-views, and then getting something like Wrestle Kingdom 12, where even if you're not a hardcore New Japan guy, even if you don't see it, we saw good wrestling matches. The only thing keeping it from a 5 was just really kind of nitpicky things and maybe some disagreements on some finishes, such as the main event of Okada winning over Naito. And in the end, in my opinion, when you get the main event booking wrong, because I think now Okada's too strong and you don't know where to go after this, that's what keeps it from a 5. who knows, maybe looking back on it, I'll be like, hey, they did something better with it. I don't know, but right here and now, 4.5.
It's hard to argue. Very fair assessment. Colin, Mr. New Japan, Captain New Japan. What do you think of the show?
I'd agree. I'd 4.5, A-. Nitpicky things that I like. I mean, I might be just salty that I got one match correct out of all of them. Every other match I got wrong in some aspect. I mean, granted, when 4 of them were multi-man matches, you can't really blame me that much. But yeah, that stuff, and I wasn't a fan of Naito losing. Past that, really good show. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom always, it's the 4 days into the new year, and it's always immediately, in consideration for match. Like, there's always a match of the year candidate, and it's always a show of the year candidate. So it always delivers.
The problem is you have to make a separate list of WWE compared to everything else, because then all these New Japan matches are just going to be top of the card.
Yeah,
that's true. Exactly. I will say this. Good old Uncle Dave Meltzer, he said something that said, none of the matches at Wrestle Kingdom 12 even come close to the top 10 best matches of 2017. And I agree.
That's also fair, because I feel like Okada and Omega alone, the first 2 were just, ooh.
Exactly.
Myself, I'm going to have to go, I don't want to be like everybody else. I'll just go 4, like Bronson. I mean, and I'm much more casual like Bronson, too, with these kind of shows once again. And I feel like certain things did affect maybe what would have got a higher score for me, like the making Okada too strong now, like you said, JD, and certain pacing on it, like you said earlier, Colin, with just how certain matches were put on here. My God, you take certain things off of this, I shudder to think, like, okay, take Cody off of this and take Jericho Omega off of this, and what do you got left? I mean, you still got a good New Japan card, but the Jericho and Omega stamp on this really drove it home. I feel like it adds spectacle. And Wrestle Kingdom is always full of spectacle.
The Jericho Omega match made this particular Wrestle Kingdom a must-watch. And that's why we all tuned in, I feel.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Well, you could say Okada and Omega, but I feel like even more so than that last year. That was just based off in-ring work. It's been a long time since a company not WWE came out with something that was must-watch in a good way. Not like Sexy Star going into business for herself or something like that. No, this was must-watch in a good way. And it's good to see that. Rose-colored glasses at the end of the show, though, guys. Maybe, and a lot of people are saying it, and there's kind of this feeling in the air this could eventually turn the corner for something. And I don't want to jinx it, but some sort of competition, because it only makes Vince McMahon and company better when they're not just sitting fat cats on top of the mountain, hogging up all the glory.
That would be nice, but I don't see it, but that'd be nice for sure.
Wouldn't it be nice? Guys, yes. It has been nice to get you on here, JD, man. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on to this. Hopefully have you on many more shows in the future. Before we get out of here, I know it's late. Where can everyone check you, your shows, and all that good stuff out?
You can find me at the Red Leaf Retrocast. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play. That's for all your retro gaming, modern game, monthly, and anime cast.
Very nice, man. Thanks again. And guys, get over there, check out JD and all his goodness. Colin, man, we did it. First ever New Japan show ran on the channel in the books. Where can everyone catch you and your upcoming ventures?
You can. First of all, I want to point out one final thing. We were making jokes earlier how you had 2 Canadians fighting for the U.S. title in Japan. At the Royal Rumble, we're also going to have 2 Canadians fighting for the U.S. title, because it's going to be Jinder Mahal and Bobby Roode. So,
isn't that great?
Plus 2 Canadians in the WWE title.
First of all, that's not official, but it's going to be that anyways. We all know it. So,
maybe
Jinder should have been on the U.S. title scene in the first place.
Yeah, unless Xavier Woods pulls out an upset. So I just wanted to.
That could happen.
I wouldn't mind a good old Consequences Creed revival.
I could see them, the company, like pat on the back for good for you. You got up, down, over success, and let's reward you.
I really like how he presents up, down. He goes by his real name, and no one there is known by their actual wrestling name. They all have nicknames. I like what he does there. Anyways, you can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy. I would plug Cruise Control, but that's not a thing anymore for right now. So
maybe it'll be back. Who knows? But right now, there's no sense to watch the cruiserweights, in my opinion.
Yeah, you should just keep it this way. Hibiki Highspots do a random thing every Tuesday. I think that's better, man.
It's pretty much what it's going to be. So you can check me out here, still, as always, now on Hibiki Highspots. Will Cruise Control be back? Well, let's see if the cruiserweights, get better.
Yeah.
And you can check me out most weeks on the Pro Wrestling Roundtable at Jane Hebert Side 95's channel. And I do want to promote two things, actually. I should be getting a microphone sometime soon. And with that, I'm probably going to start my own show. Why? Because I like talking. And also, Travis, you might remember, I briefly had my own WordPress website where I reviewed Raw and SmackDown once each, and then I never did it again because I got really busy after that. But I did just write an article. It's New Year's resolutions of wrestlers, and so it's basically a joke article. But I went in, I picked some wrestlers, and I predicted what I thought their New Year's resolution is. And so you can check that out at colinsthoughtsnooneaskfor.wordpress.com.
Very well done. My God. There you go. It's good to see you back dabbling in the world of writing. And thanks, Colin. I'll catch you here next week, hopefully, on Hibiki Highspots. Bronson, man, I know you're not doing, fucking fan fiction on guys' resolutions or anything, but I know you're going to keep it simple, pop like a pimp. Where can everyone check you out?
You can catch the almighty Bronson at BRONSONTRON, and I'm co-hosting with Logan Feature Wrestling Podcast. You can catch me on there.
There you go. Personally, I want to thank each and every one of you lads for joining me tonight. This was fun, and I hope to review more New Japan shows in the future. Until next week, follow me on Twitter once again at the HibikiTMD. Subscribe right down below. Check out the Reset Button Retro Gaming Podcast, Slam Pigs Podcast, Slam Pigs Union Smack, and Never Drew a Dime. Guys, this week we debuted on Grapple Vision, and it was tremendous. Thank you once again at Tonka Saul for allowing us to be over there. Look for that weekly every Sunday night. And you can catch me at first thing in the morning on YouTube on the K-Faith Today podcast. Hit subscribe over there. Until next week, Hibiki Highspots. See you then.